Everybody, big important day today. The report is in right now. Senators looking over the FBI's 7th assessment of Brett Kavanaugh. And according to a White House source, the Bureau found nothing to support or corroborate the allegations of sexual assault. I'm Bill Hemmer. Big morning here. Welcome to America's Newsroom.
Good morning to you, Bill. I'm Sandra Smith. Members of the Senate Judiciary Committee are now taking turns reviewing that report. There is only one copy, and we're being told it will not be made public. This as Majority Leader Mitch McConnell gets the ball rolling on a vote.
This information comes on top of what was already been one of the most thorough and most exhaustive Senate reviews of any Supreme Court nominee in the entire history of our country. There'll be plenty of time for members to review and be briefed on the supplemental material before a Friday cloture vote.
Meanwhile, White House spokesman Raj Shah saying, quote, with this additional information, the White House is fully confident the Senate will vote to confirm Judge Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court.
We are on every angle. Kristen Fisher live on Capitol Hill. Matt Schlapp has reaction on what is next. But we begin with Kevin Corke from the White House. And Kevin, let's start there. What is the strategy between now and what could be a vote this weekend?
Bill, good morning. Two things. First of all, you're going to see a real full court press by White House officials. So a lot of availability and a lot of sound in support, not just of the judge, but also in support of those who may be on the fence in the Senate. But I think the second thing is really important as well. You're going to see a bit of a reliance on this FBI report, again, to bolster the argument that a man who has served honorably on the bench for more than 2 decades should not have this allegation, an uncorroborated allegation, keep him from serving on the U.S. Supreme Court. Let me take you to Twitter. The president is talking about it once again this morning. He said this: the harsh and unfair treatment of Judge Brett Kavanaugh is having an incredible, an incredible upward impact on voters. The people get it far better than most politicians. Most importantly, this great life cannot be ruined by mean and despicable Democrats and totally uncorroborated allegations. There, you see it right there. Now, to be sure, there is a political aspect to this confirmation battle, but I think more crucially, the argument over the next couple of days, Bill, will be about the content of that report and the fairness of the process, which has included, as you know, a bevy of late allegations and questions about Judge Kavanaugh's fitness.
All these types of questions get thoroughly investigated throughout one's career. He's been entrusted with some of the most important jobs in government over the last 25 years with a very high-profile career. And all the folks that are demanding this type of an investigation in the Senate are Democrats who've already pledged to vote no. They don't want additional information to make a decision. They want to delay this process.
Obviously, that is Raj Shah. We anticipate getting more sound with him. We actually grabbed him on his way after that interview. So as I get more sound, I'll be sure to pass that along. By the way, we can always tell you this. The president got the report. Actually, the White House got the report after 3 a.m. this morning. We do know the president has been briefed on it, Bill, although we don't believe he's actually read it himself yet.
Okay, we've heard the Bureau reached out to 10 individuals, interviewed 9 of them. Dr. Christine Blasey Ford was not among them. Her team's not happy about that. Chuck Grassley would say you should have shared your notes with us and not the Washington Post. What is the White House? How is the White House characterizing that, Kevin?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. From their perspective, Dr. Ford has already been effectively interviewed for the entire world to see under oath on Capitol Hill. And so given that, it's important, they say, to allow the FBI to sort of unpack other allegations that have been out there. The Bureau could have chosen to interview her. They did not, about which her lawyers said this: an FBI supplemental background investigation that did not include an interview of Dr. Christine Blasey Ford nor witnesses who corroborate her testimony cannot be called an investigation. We are profoundly disappointed that after the tremendous sacrifice she made in coming forward, those directing the FBI investigation were not interested in seeking the truth. It is expected, Bill, that the president will get an opportunity to take a look at that report firsthand here this morning. Of course, as we learn more about it, we'll be sure to pass it along. But for now,
good deal. Thank you, Kevin. Sarah Sanders coming up next hour to address all that and more, too. Thank you, Kevin. Here's Sandra with more.
Meanwhile, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell moving the ball forward on a confirmation vote, filing for cloture last night to end the debate on Kavanaugh's nomination. Kristen Fisher's live on Capitol Hill. And Kristen, since this is a word we're hearing a lot this morning, what exactly is cloture?
Well, cloture is a procedural device that's used to cut off a filibuster. It was filed late last night by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, and what that did is it really just gives the opponents, in this case the Democrats, 30 hours before a procedural vote can take place. So now that the clock is running, it's looking like this procedural vote is going to take place sometime tomorrow, followed by the big confirmation vote either Saturday or Sunday. Until then, what's going to be happening is all of these senators are going to be poring over the contents of this FBI report. We know that the Senate Judiciary Committee got it around 2:30 in the morning. Senators Grassley and Feinstein got the first crack at it. Now it's going to be opened up to all of the senators, and they're going to be taking a look at it as they arrive here at Capitol Hill today. Now, it's important to point out that, this isn't the kind of document that you can just email out. This has to be viewed in a secure facility on Capitol Hill. You cannot take it out. But, while we may not get to look at it in full, parts of it are almost certainly going to leak out, and that is what a lot of reporters here on Capitol Hill are waiting for today, Sandra.
All right, Kristen, so all that considered, what is the latest that we're hearing on where those three critical GOP senators stand?
Yeah, Senators Collins, Murkowski, and Flake, their position really hasn't changed all that much over the last few days. They have said they are not going to say anything. They are not going to weigh in until after they get a chance to actually read what is inside this FBI report. But here's Senator Murkowski speaking to reporters as she was leaving Capitol Hill last night.
What I want to see the report, the 302s, whatever they are. I want to see them. And so that's what I'm waiting for.
But that wait and see period is almost over. If she hasn't seen it already, she surely will within the next few hours. And so now the job of all the reporters here on Capitol Hill today is going to be trying to find Senators Murkowski, Collins, and Flake and see if there is anything that in that report that has changed their mind or potentially swayed their vote, Sandra.
It's going to be a quickly moving story this morning. We're following all of it. Kristen Fisher, thank you.
For more on all this now, Matt Schlapp's the chairman of the American Conservative Union. How you doing, sir? And good morning to you.
Good to be with you, Bill.
It appears the senators face the exact same question today or tomorrow as they did a week ago, does it not?
Exactly right, Bill. All this supplemental investigation does is ask similar questions of people. What do you know about Brett Kavanaugh that would be problematic with his service on the Supreme Court? They give answers. In this case, because Mitch McConnell and Chuck Grassley want to really put all of this down the right path, is they're going to let every senator read every word.
Okay. Nancy Pelosi was at an event just yesterday. I just want to roll this clip here. We're going to get reaction to Pelosi and then McConnell, and then what is to be expected in Washington, D.C. starting later today. First, Pelosi, watch.
I guess there's a similarity that people have with the people that they respect. Crazy about Putin, in love with Kim Jong-un, thinks Kavanaugh is a great, upstanding person. Well, you know what? He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
Matt?
That's the resistance, Bill. It's make fun of Trump. It's mock him. It's do everything to stop him. Brett Kavanaugh's become a proxy battle in that resistance movement, and it's a shame because what's happening out there in the country, Bill, is that we are divided, blue and red, and we're getting more divided. And what's happening in this, as we go to this midterm election, is the red side is getting very fired up over what they see as a disgusting, revolting process in the Senate.
Okay, here is Mitch McConnell late last night on intimidation factors.
But I want to make it clear to these people who are chasing my members around the hall here, or harassing them at the airports, or going to their homes, we'll not be intimidated by these people. There is no chance in the world they're going to scare us out of doing our duty.
So we have been getting reports that the Capitol is tense. This was the report on CNN at 6:20 this morning. A group of protesters on board a bus in New Jersey bound for your town. Watch.
This is one of several buses of protesters heading down from New York City and various cities down to Washington, D.C. to protest the confirmation of Kavanaugh. The idea is to rally outside the courthouse where Judge Kavanaugh currently sits and then march to the one where he is hoping to ascend, the Supreme Court, of course. They want to do everything they can to keep that from happening.
So I've seen reporters report on buses arriving and people getting off the bus, but never physically on the bus. What do you expect in our nation's capital as we reach the most critical point here, Matt?
Yeah, look, this is an epic vote. There's no question, Bill. And I'm glad that the American people care about this and are getting engaged on both sides. I am not pleased that there is a paid movement on the left to try to disrupt the process and intimidate senators. I think that goes too far. You know what I think is great? A lot of people who know Brett Kavanaugh and Ashley Kavanaugh went to school with Brett. They're not there in the same numbers, but they're up there, and they know him, and they're saying, look, we know this is a good man, and all the paid protesters in the world shouldn't keep the Republican senators. Remember, it only takes Republican senators to get this done. It shouldn't keep Republican senators from doing what they've told voters they would do for 50 years, and that's put people on the Supreme Court who will simply interpret the words of the Constitution. If the Republican Party can't get this right, Bill, I am not sure we can keep this all together. The stakes are very high. And for those 3 individual senators, they know they're signing their political death warrant if they vote against Brett Kavanaugh, because they have promised that they would do the very thing of confirming people like this.
Do you dare make a prediction? What happens to Kavanaugh?
Oh, boy, I can't. It's hard to predict in this. It's gone here and there and everywhere. I will tell you this. All I know is Donald Trump won half of Maine. So for Susan Collins, it is a very stupid political thing to take this fight on. For Lisa Murkowski, she lost her last primary in Alaska. She will lose it again if she votes wrong on this issue. I believe in the end they're going to do the right thing, and I think these Democrats like Joe Manchin and Heidi Heitkamp and these other Democrats, if they don't vote for Brett Kavanaugh, it's the end of their Senate careers. So I actually think at the end of this, it's going to move towards Judge Kavanaugh's way, and I'm very hopeful he's going to get confirmed.
Matt Slapp, thank you for your analysis. We'll see whether or not you're right in the end. Thank you for that. Almost 12 past.